Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I'm Balforg, the Gaming Bullfrog, and we are going to learn how to play Heliborne. So this is a game by Jetcat Games. The lead developer, Rain, is really awesome bloke. Been to a couple of his live streams at this point, and he's just he seems to be a stand-up guy to the community. So we're going to start off looking at this splash page where you join. So you'll see you have language select in the upper right. You can choose between Russian, English, and a language I'm not familiar with, PT, EU, US Central, and Southeast Asia and Australia servers to select from. Since I am in the US, I'm going to select the US server. You can select different servers to find more matches for you to choose from if you're having trouble finding anybody to play with. You can find links to their social media below. I highly recommend connecting with them on Discord. You could find a lot of these guys on the Discord channel for Mags TV, and I'll put a link to his Discord along with mine in the description below. So once you've gotten all of your server stuff ready and looked at the patch notes, you can hit connect, and you'll be brought to the Squadrons tab of your base. And as you can see, it's a lovely rendered base. Super enjoying the details put into this game. And as you can see, I have my US Gen 1 squad selected. I've already pre-made these squads before the video, but I'll run you through the process and what everything means in the meantime. So you can see a squadron overview of soldiers in the upper right-hand corner. I have 20 regular infantry, 2 SAM missiles, 2 SMA, or, anti-ground missiles, and 2 mortar, as 2 men on a single mortar team. For every 2 men here, you get a single mortar tube. In order to use the mortar tubes, you need to have a scout helicopter in your mix that has a mortar observer. You can, a mortar observer operates a lot like a ATGM missile in game, which is to say you get a little scope to kind of select and designate targets. So let's look at our helicopters here. We have our Scout AH Mark 1 helicopter for 74 points. This is probably my most expensive helicopter in this lineup. It is, in fact. It's got a Stinger and 2 anti-troop columns infantry, the rocket launcher infantry. So this will be a very good kind of ambush and light attack helicopter. It's got 2 7.62 machine guns mounted to the left and right of the nose, I believe. They're those little things above the skids. An FN MAG. Yeah, so it's an FN. Yeah, I like that machine gun. It's a very ubiquitous kind of NATO design. Very reliable, rugged, kind of NATO's answer to the AKs in a lot of ways. So moving on to our H-21, this is kind of the precursor to the Hurons, I believe, the CH-47 Chinooks, that the large cargo helicopters and troop transports, for the U.S. military. So the machine guns it carries is again the 2x7.62, but these are Browning M1919s mounted just under the cockpit, just under the pilot on the gear leg. So it's got two mounted side by side. Then it has 24 rockets of 127 millimeters, mounted on the left and right side in tubes of 9. It looks like racks of 9 or 12. Yeah, 3x4. Which can lay down some pretty good suppressive fire, maybe take out all of the AA in a base before landing and dropping off your infantry, which it carries 18. We have 17 regular infantries and 1 SMAW or anti-air unit. So the UH-1B is our Huey. Beautiful helicopter. Absolutely love the detail on the models. This variant has two 7.62 M134 miniguns, or Gatling guns. I'm not sure which these variants are, but the other payload that it carries is 38 70mm Hydra rockets, which are very effective at taking out medium armor targets. It also carries 3 troops that you can drop off into anti-air positions, as well as a mortar team that can be used to indirect fire a position. So with that, we're going to move over to the Russian side and create a squadron. So we're going to move on to creating a new battle, and for this tutorial we're going to go into the Generation 4, and what we're going to use is we're going to create a Russian squad. So we're going to select Russia as our nation. We're going to set this password as tutorial. And we are going to create new squadron. Generation 4. We're going to select the KA-52 with the, let me just see I'm making the right choice, yes, with Vickers missiles, Iglas, and 40 80mm rocket pods. Well, rockets in 2 rocket pods, and a mortar observer and flares, and you can choose between different variations of this, but my personal opinion is this is the one that I'm going to add. So you add that to your lineup by clicking on it down there after you've adjusted your thing, and then I'm probably going to take a variant of, or a couple variants of Mi-24s, depending on where the men are. Where are the men? So let's see, what does this have that makes it so valuable? So this one has ATGMs, it looks like. The only difference is those ATGMs, and less rockets, of course. So we don't care about ATGMs on our troop transporter. We just want this guy to be able to drop off a lot of men. So we're going to take a few man pads with us so that we can deposit them at the base where we've started. So we're gonna say to USA, back. Yes, add MI8 MTSH for 130 points. Those extra points were from the man pads that added 20. So now we have 416 of 510, and these are the ones that we have available. Looks like we have up to about 192 points available to us. Let's see what this has. Helicopter modifications, there we go. No, wouldn't be able to add that at all, but we could afford 110 points. It looks like we could afford up to 134. So yeah, MI-28 would not be available to us. However, let's look at some of these other options. The Mi-24P would be available to us if we could either have 4... Oh, what, this gun pod? Yeah, the gun pod is very effective against other planes. This might be a good one for attacking other helicopters. So I think I'll run this as my lineup. As you can see, we're at 536 of 550 points with my 8 troop carrying anti-air Mi-24P, my Mi-8 AMTSH carrying 20 men, including 2 man pads. It's got gun pods and rocket pods. 80 rockets along with 2 guns. The Iglas on the Ka-52 are going to be very useful against taking out a few targets, but then moving on to base destruction. But this is a full attacker. There's no capability of dropping any troops. So we're going to save this. And that also counts as my scout. So I'll hit join battle, see if that worked. Right, so here's my squadron ready to be played. And I'm going to head out in the Ka-52. Well... yeah, first I'll do the Ka-52. So in order to fly, really you just want to be looking where you're going, but space to ascend and to descend is shift. But using your mouse effectively to guide the sweeping motion of your rotor blades is very important, because you have to understand that this is a physics-based game, and what controls your helicopter is the position of the rotors. So you want to understand what you're doing with your hands and the keys in order to effectively fly your helicopter. So the nice thing about Heliborne is that when you let go of the controls, it pretty much gives you a nice, stable... you look at the horizon. You need to be at least looking at the horizon. But if you look at the horizon, you get a nice, stable auto hover. If I press shift, I'll descend. If I press space, I'll ascend. It takes it a little while because it needs to actually physically manipulate the environment in order to accomplish these tasks. Now, in order to adjust your speed while landing, or maybe slow yourself down a little bit, you can look up past the horizon. It really does help with adjusting speed if you just look your mouse up into the horizon. Landing becomes much easier when you can slow yourself down. Pressing WASD will nudge your helicopter in any particular direction, but you really do need to assist the turns and things like that with your mouse movements. So let's go over here and we're going to look at what starts out at these bases. So I'm going to go into first person mode, pressing C on my keyboard, and you can see there's some lovely rendered models of BMPs, Shilkas, BRDMs, maybe a tank down there. Is that a T-72? Who knows? I can't visually identify those yet. But what we're going to do is we're going to head out to Objective 9 and lay down some fire. We'll start off at a range with ATGMs, but we obviously can't use those now because that would require us to either be steady or be ready to fire. Because when you select ATGMs with button 4, you automatically go into the ATGM site, which is zoomed in. It's not really effective for use against a base. So right now I'm just visually tracing this path down, what I'm aiming at right now, and I see there's something in the road up there. So I'm gonna just line up a shot where I can see it, and I can't quite tell from this distance, so I'm gonna move in a little bit closer. Now I'm just tapping the W key right now so that I can slide on in here. But it doesn't look like it, so I'm going to switch back. It doesn't look like it's one of our targets, so I'm going to switch back. And I need to identify. Okay, there's the target. And they're starting to move out. So we need to get on our ATGM and find who's firing at me. And I got him. So you just want to trail the blue dots just underneath where they are. I like to line up the blue dot with the top of the reticle and just fire away after that, and it'll find home. So that looks like a scary thing over there, so we're gonna take that out. Then we're gonna take out some of these AA pieces. And these are indeed very, very fast. Very, very fast missiles. I like it. I like it a lot. So we're down to 1 missile left. So I think I'm going to take out this AA piece. Awesome. So now that we've gotten all of the AA taken care of at a range, we can swoop in down here where there's good ingress and egress, which means, incoming flight and outgoing flight. We can make a quick rocket pass taking out what remaining defenses they had, and then maintaining flight along the mountains behind them in order to escape. You always want to think about, before making an attack, where are you going to fly away to? So I used about half of my rockets on that pass, so we're going to go back and use the other half on this pass. So I'm just controlling it with W and my mouse at this point. Now I'm just controlling it with my mouse, kind of letting it glide. So we just have 4 missiles left. So I think I'm going to make one more little pass with missiles and guns. So use my missiles now. And use the guns. And just like that, with one ammo unit of this helicopter, we've successfully cleared an entire base. Now you'll see on the map that my column is heading to 3. They have already reached 2. But we need to lay down some anti-air security on those points. So I'm going to land at the designated landing zone at our base, as indicated in the lower right corner of the screen by that orange symbol on the map. Gonna start heading north. Zoom down. and land here. So remember, I'm flaring my nose up by looking up into the air and then bringing it down, bringing it down, bringing it down. Change helicopter is G. So then we're going to head into the MI8 to do a little bit of troop movement. Just going to move immediately to 3. Now the MI8 is a big helicopter, big rotor blade, so it can be cumbersome at times. So as you can see, the units have just arrived. And I'm going to set myself down right in the middle there. And in order to disembarkate your troops, they automatically fill whatever seats needed filling if they're just normal troopers, but the SAMs, you'll see a little highlight of a man up in here. So you want to place him on the ground where you want the SAM to go. So you'll see he lit up right there. He was no longer a little shadow entity, but then I just dropped him down using E on the keyboard. You can pick them up by pressing Z. So I'll say, hey, come back to the helicopter, because I like that spot much better than where I first put them. So I'm just going to put them right over there and fly away. And that's essentially all you need to know for getting to start Heliborne. Combat with helicopters, other people's helicopters, all I would say about that is start off with guns. You know, be a gunner, and lead your shots. You know, this is a physics-based game again, so you need to be sure you're shooting ahead of where your target's going. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I will see you in the next one.